Alright, so here's part 2. Today, I figured I'd start by getting a master cylinder, because I don't know the condition of the one that's in the car, but even if it's functional, I know that it's at least from 2003, and it's very rusty, and the pedal doesn't push down. So there's definitely some sort of issues there. So I figured I'd go to the store, grab a new one. This is actually a rebuilt one, and then I'm basically just shooting it with some paint. I happen to have some gray engine enamel, so I'm using this. If I had orange, purple, yellow, green, I wouldn't really care what the color is, I just want some paint on it. Because if you don't paint it, it'll rust, and then it will look as bad as the one that's on the car. Which, you can see right here. So while that's drying, I'm going to go down under the car and work on the transmission linkage. So if you remember from last time, the transmission linkage is not hooked up. It's missing all of the little bushings and bolts and things that go with it. So I just went to the hardware store and I grabbed sort of a variety of things. So I'm gonna mix and match some stuff and see if I can put something together that will connect this cable to that linkage. One thing that I think I'm gonna have to do is drill out this bushing. Terrible camera focus. So I'm gonna have to drill out, where is it? Right here. Drill out this bushing hole on this linkage right here. I'm gonna have to drill this hole bigger so I can put this bushing in it, and that way it is not a bolt that's like flopping around in a hole that it doesn't fit in. So I'm gonna start by removing this thing from the transmission. Here we go. We're backing up the train just a little bit. You see this trim here? This has now fallen on my head like 37 times as I'm working under the car, and it's got a Phillips head screw right here that's holding it to the fender, which definitely shouldn't be there. Of course, it's like rusty and stripped out. So I'm gonna get this thing off so it doesn't fall on my head anymore. I'm gonna grab some vice grips and rip it off with that. All right, let's see if this works. Here's an update. That didn't work. So now we're gonna go to plan B, which is a cutoff wheel. I'm just gonna basically slice this thing up until this aluminum trim comes off. While we're talking about slicing things, I got ski goggles. These aren't actually ski goggles. They're safety glasses, but they're awesome. For those of you who haven't gotten a scratched eyeball before, let me recommend that you get a set of these. Because once you have a scratched eyeball, you learn that you never want to have a scratched eyeball again. So basically, that happened to me recently, and now I'm ultra safe wearing ski goggles. I look ridiculous. My neighbors probably think I'm an idiot, but moral is, I won't have a scratched cornea again. So, I'm gonna throw these on, and I'm gonna cut this thing off. Here we go. Great news, kids. I can now stick a flat screwdriver in it that's covered in RTV, I think? Anyways, and unscrew the screw. How good is this? It's actually working. Uh-oh. I can't wait to find out what's behind it. I bet it's rust. What in the world? Is this right? Is this supposed to be like this? That's a pretty dumb setup, but it looks factory. Huh. Wouldn't you know it? That looks like a factory hole. Apparently the bottom of these fenders have a little sliding plastic nugget in there to adjust the trim, and that holds it onto the car. Hey, that's pretty cool. Learned something new. Pontiac Lemans. Sport. Okay, now what the heck are we doing? Okay, so I want to drill out this center hole. You know it's the center because it has a C next to it. And I'm going to put this bushing in it. Right there. And then I'm going to put a bolt through the bushing, and then it'll fit right. I'm probably going to slice this bushing off too, because it's a little bit long for what I need. So anyways, drill the hole, bushing it, throw the bolt in the bushing, and then attach this thing. All right, let's do this. Here's a pro tip. Don't hold the item that you're drilling, because when the drill bit gets stuck, it's going to rip your fingers off. So, vice grips. And maybe even throw a little something on there to help it work. All right, now we're just going to drill this. This is a terrible camera angle. Sorry about that. Oh boy. Sweet. Focus. There we go. All right. Now we just kind of wipe it off and hope this bushing fits in. Holy cow. I think we've nailed it. Yes. So now I just got to smash this in here. Probably with a hammer. Maybe I can just push it in. Nope. I'm going to smash it. Here we go. Oh yeah. That's the ticket right there. Alright, so now I gotta figure out what I want this length to be, because I'm gonna chop it off to a much smaller length. Probably like half of that. Maybe take like, we'll say 1/4 inch off of it. Maybe 3/16. We'll see. Alright, so I've just cut that off with the cutoff wheel, and you can see it looks like I cut it off with a very rabid beaver. So I'm going to flatten that out and square it off and make it look nice with a file. So yeah, that's where we're at next. File time. Alright, that worked better than expected. Since it's brass, it actually filed really nicely. So now, I'm going to take a bolt and a washer, pop it through this hole right here, and then here's the little magic device that goes on the shifter cable, and I'll basically screw it on the end of this bolt, have the shifter cable go through it. I might have to cut this bolt to the right length because I think it's going to be too long, and then we'll get the shifter linkage all on there. I think this is going to work mint. Alright, I've just put this linkage piece back on the transmission, and then I got a couple of nuts at the hardware store that I'm hoping are the right size. We're about to find out. Wow, that's a really close shot of my thumb. Oh, tell me I got the wrong size. Did I? There's no way. Ah. Okay. After much screwing around, I got those nuts on there, and I ended up flipping this bracket around the opposite way because it aligned the cable better. And then I spun the bushing to the other side, and I adjusted this stuff right in here. So now, all I need to do is get a bolt that fits. This one is too short. I have another one that's too long. So now I'm gonna cut the long one into a short one, and I'll just keep cutting it until it's too short. All right, as expected, I cut it twice and it was still too short. So then I cut it again, and now it's just right. So now I'm going to put a little Loctite on it, because shifter linkage is one of those things that you just don't want to fall apart when you're driving or when you're parking or one of those things. So I'm going to throw some Loctite on it and then slap this thing together, and then I'm going to move the shifter inside the car and see what happens. Can't wait. We're going to throw another coat on this. While we wait. Looking good. Okay. Step one. Watch out for bees. Whoa. All right. Now, we got the shifter. Oh. See, this is attached really well. This is what the pros are doing these days. All right, so I'm in first. Second, drive. neutral. Oop, missed reverse. I think that's park. Park. Reverse. Alright, that makes sense. No. Park. Reverse. Neutral. Drive. Second. First. Holy crap, I think it works. First, second. Ah. All right, I think it works. So I guess that's it for episode 2. I think for the next one, we're gonna do brakes. We're gonna actually install the master cylinder that I just painted. Maybe swap out the booster, because I think I have a spare one of those that's in much better shape. And yeah, figure out where the brake leak is, because there's no fluid in the back of this master cylinder. So I think that there is a leak somewhere in the brake lines. So we're gonna do that next time. See you later.